And we are back to the BS show. So I would like to go and okay, so you're on YouTube now.
Yes.
You've got a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
You have you got this new YouTube channel. What are you trying to do with your YouTube venture now? What is it that you're trying to accomplish?
What I'd like to do with my YouTube channel is just there may be some small tutorials that I'm going to do. You know, like just got a capture card, so I'm going to try to play around with it somewhat. I tried opened up with StreamYard's OBS last night, and I was getting all kinds of feedback and noises everywhere. And I was like, whoa. Okay, I got to learn how to do this. So, but that's something I'm going to play around with, is doing some, just small videos, just no editing, just me, this is what you do here with the Fire Stick to do this, or the NVIDIA Shield to do that, or, I want to do maybe some small videos. But the goal behind my channel was to do live stuff, and just real live stuff, topics that I like starting my shows out with topics that haven't really been touched on by a lot of people that I've seen. Like I did the one that what's behind your name, and stuff. But and then it usually flows into a Q&A, and that's kind of where I like it at, and I like that flow of things. And I'm trying my hardest to get a weekly thing set up, to where but the schedule around here has been just so hectic with us and what's going on with the in-laws and whatnot, that it's been hard to dedicate one day in specific right now. So that's where that's at. But
yeah. So you're trying to dive more into I guess you're trying to dive into more of the streaming community and to do those type of tutorials to help people out, right?
Right.
Cool.
Right. Yeah. So the tutorials are going to be about streaming. When I do those, the live shows are about the streaming community for the most part, or in general. And then, after the topic, it's been flowing into a Q&A, or just a place to go chit chat and hang out for a while. And you never know when someone's going to come in on a live show and have a question about something. And the people that seem to be, around me and join me in this show are some really brilliant people that have a lot of answers and can help a lot of people out. So that's nice too. So
yeah. So what is I guess as you're learning a lot more when it comes to the streaming stuff, because you're going to get people that are going to ask you and test you. And the one thing we say is every time we're wrong about something, people will call us out.
Yeah,
they would just, you're stupid. They start going off.
Right.
It's like, whatever, dude. I'm not the smartest person in the world, and I'm not claiming it to be. So I'm just trying to help you. But so what is your venture right now when it comes to finding the knowledge, so that way you can help people out? I know a lot of it has to do with firsthand experience as you're going in there, you're watching others. What is it that you're doing to gain that knowledge, so that way when you do make a video, you do have a live show, or you have a Q&A, that people could say like, oh yeah, I got to talk to Paper because he's really good at XYZ.
Yeah, there's a couple things that I do. The people that I watch on YouTube, most of the time, if they put up a tutorial of something, like say for instance, nxtlvl's the TV Zion settings he did last week. I come in here, I sat down while I was watching the YouTube, I was going through myself and doing the exact settings to see where they were different from how I had mine set up before, and tried it out to see if I noticed any difference. And I do that a lot with a lot of videos that I do watch. If I'm not watching it live, as the show's on live, or if I'm watching it later, I'll go back in and sit down and try to follow along the exact steps that they're showing on their YouTube video, and try it and see how it works for me and how I feel about it. And then I'll try my way of doing the same thing, or what can I change about this, or what did I have changed before I saw this, and what are the differences, and which do I like better and why. And so if I ever get asked that question, I have that knowledge of, okay, well, I did try that this way, the video that you're talking about, but the way I did it, I like better, and this is why. Or I also have a Fire Stick and the NVIDIA Shield here plugged up to my splitter right now and going to the capture card now. So, I can also, that was a big thing with the capture card is, I can also on a live show turn that on and be like, okay, well, look, this is what I do, compared to what Next Level did on that video that he showed. And this is what it looks like both ways. And so that's kind of my approach about it. I don't want to tell anybody that I never want to tell anybody that my way is this is the best way on how to do something, because I've learned a long time ago or a while back that just doesn't work, because what might be my best way and works the best in my house on this TV might not be the right way in the living room.
And that's a very valid case.
So why would it be the same or work best across 7 states from where I'm at?
Countries or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't work in my living room but it works in my office, then how do I know for sure it's going to work, across on the other side of the United States or in Canada, or so that's kind of what I like to play around with. That's the mentality that I like to keep. So
have you experienced that? I think so. I guess my question is, have you experienced it when you set up something in your office, in your bedroom, that sometimes that's not the same settings that you're going to need in your living room?
I have.
So what is the best settings that you've learned, or what is the best process that you've learned so far to say, this is what I need to do, or this is what the end user needs to do? Like, how would you go about to teach somebody to say the settings will vary from room to room in the same house, and these are the best instructions that I know I can give you that will help you get to that no buffering?
Yeah, the no buffering. Yeah. I always like to, usually the first thing I go to in settings, let's say an IPTV. The very first thing I go to in settings is the either TS or M3U, or one of those native software hardware. That's usually the first area that I go to and start playing with. And the device is a huge thing too. But if I'm using the same device, it's my prime example with here was I had a Fire Stick, 4K Fire Stick that works great back here in my office. Take it in there and put it in the living room for her to watch on, and at least once a week, babe. I'm like, But so, I usually set them up back here. It's just so much easier to set them up where I've got everything at. But that happens a lot, and I'll go in and do the settings like I would normally do, but hers they won't work the proper way. So the first place I go is check the Wi-Fi signal. What kind of signals it's getting on Wi-Fi. But anymore, I don't really have to do that because I have a mesh network. So I know that it's really not going to matter because it's the same network period. So that I'm not going to switch from 2.4 to 5 because it's all together. And so that was the first place I always went, was to check the signal from the Wi-Fi. And I used an app to it wasn't what is it?
An app to check your channels?
To check the Wi-Fi channels, from on, and that worked great, because you could walk through room to room and see what was best in that room and what channel was best in that room of your house. So I use that a lot. But yeah, I mean, my my best advice would be, is trial and error. Start with a basic setting of checking the Wi-Fi, checking your signal. Change the channel on the Wi-Fi on your router if you know how to do that. If you don't know how to do that, go check out a video. There's one on YouTube. Here's the way. That's the best thing to do is just trial and error and start basic. As basic as you can get in the settings, and then as it gets into more advanced settings, if you don't know what it is, click it and see what it does. That or Google what it says it is. Google, UNP and for the universal plug and play.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know what that is. The UNPN. Well, what is it? Well, just Google it. That's what I tell a lot of people. Google is
your best friend.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Especially with with anything, but especially with this stuff. There's so much terminology and stuff that I know I don't know all of it, and that's what I do. I Google it. If I'm looking at something, I'll be like, what the hell does that mean? I'll type it in Google or copy and paste it over in Google. Yeah. Oh, well, why don't they just call it that then? But that's the easiest way and that's how I usually tell people. And I have been from room to room with people, on the phone with them, through video chat when they're having problems. And works fine here. And then, I'm in here in my office working on it. It's working great. I don't know why you're having a problem. And I'll go to the other TV and it's like, oh, well, yeah, she's having the same problem,
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what this does or this, that, and I've done that before. So
yeah, here's something that I've been. So you said you do have a mesh Wi-Fi, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I've been playing around with mesh Wi-Fi. I got this one sent to me just recently, and people were asking us like, "Hey, how is it? How is it?" Next Level was like, "We haven't played with it yet. Give us some time." So I got to play with this on some Next Level. You're hearing this first.
Okay, cool.
It worked great. The speeds, the setup that I have covers 4,000 square foot.
Awesome.
It is insane. Yeah, it is. It's great. So check this out. The one thing I didn't test, which I should have, and I didn't, because a lot of people, when they look at these Wi-Fis, and I think this is the Google OnHub, when I first got this, when it first came out, which was amazing. And I don't know, maybe you could, I don't know if you're familiar with when it goes with 2.4 gigahertz and the 5 gigahertz. I know 5 gigahertz means lesser range, but more power. 2.4 gives you a much longer range, but lesser power. But the consistency, it just depends. If you're close to it, 5. If you're further, 2.4.
Yeah.
So a lot of smart home automation devices.
2.4 only.
2.4 only. Okay, I'm glad that you said that, so you know exactly where I'm going. What does that mean with mesh? Is it going to work with mesh because it has the two combined?
Yes.
You still have an access point to pick just 2.4.
Well, so when your router itself should automatically see that it's requesting that 2.4 channel, and it will put it on that 2.4 channel on its own. I know mine did. All of my stuff here, when I went to mesh, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
That means I got why I don't want to separate them.
Right.
So which you can do too in the settings of your router if you want the two separate channels, but things work so much better and smoother with them combined and letting the router decide, but yeah, the router should decipher what is requesting what and put it on that channel.
Should have tested that out. I knew it. So I don't know if Next Level, if you could do like a quick search, because I've been driving myself crazy. Look up the Google OnHub real quick. And is that mesh or what the hell is it? So Paper, with the Google OnHub, it was the first wireless router where it had so many different antennas inside, and it had a speaker on the top. You would put your cell phone on top of it and it would talk with the app. And then once it got synced in, then you controlled everything through the app. This thing came out in 2012, I think, maybe 14, maybe, I don't know. It's been a while, but the technology that they were doing on this thing was they were going to push firmware updates, and they were going to do it on their own. Everything was like and I think it was, when you bought it, it says, oh, this thing has up to 300 megabytes download speed, but with firmware updates, we're going to get this to a gig, and you don't have to buy a new one. It's going to be the exact same one. All the hardware in there is compatible for overclocking it, for adding more stuff to it. We're just going to throw in that firmware update, and things are going to start activating it as technology advances. That OnHub thing was the best experience I've ever had with internet. I was super bummed out that I couldn't use it here in the house, but the one gripe I had with it was I could never connect anything to 2.4 ever. So if I wanted to, I have this thing called Tekken. They have the smart the wall outlets.
Yeah.
You put it in, you could combine it to your Amazon devices. You could tell it, hey, turn this on, turn this off. When I use that guy, it worked just fine with my OnHub. But I have this other company, and I got a Noi, Nooie, another big company. They're a direct competitor. They are huge, and they have some good stuff. They sent me stuff also, and it didn't work. And it said it has to be 2.4. And I was telling them, the OnHub that I got should be able to do it. Next level, do you know if it's mesh or not? Does it say?
I don't think it's mesh. I think the new system is called Google Wi-Fi, and that one's mesh, but not the OnHub. At least I don't think so.
So the OnHub, from what I know when I first got it, had the 2.4, and 5. The only thing is that you weren't allowed to pick what connection. It would pick it for you.
Okay.
So it's similar to what you're saying with the mesh. When you connect to it,
right,
it recognizes it.
So the new one that you have right now, is it mesh?
The one that the company sent to me is mesh. The one that I have with the house, I have a what is it? Spectrum sent me their own Motorola. They sent me their own stuff, so I'm using their stuff for now. I'm very tempted of using the mesh, switching that the router that they gave me and putting that on there. I'm very hesitant with it because if you don't know my setup, I have this is probably the easiest way for me to show you. And I know people are going to be listening, and it's really hard for them to. It's hard for me to explain it, but it's also really hard for me to show it when it comes to the podcast. So the one thing I will tell for everybody that's listening to the podcast is I probably have close to 30 some devices.
Same here.
And like, I'll show you here. This is the Amazon A word. I don't want to wake everybody's stuff up. But if we start scrolling through it, I have a hell of a lot of stuff on here. And we could go here for a while. And this is just on this device. This doesn't include, you know how the device, your Echo Show, your Amazon Echo Show, you could have these certain apps, like Smart Things, for example. Smart Things, I have another 10 stuff in there.
It's a great hub, by the way.
Great hub. I have that hub. Not only that, I got the smart lock security. I have I probably have about 6 or 7 hubs, and they each do their own unique thing. And you just saw how many things I have just on that one, so you could imagine how many things I have set up in my house. It's a lot. So I'm nervous to switch it over to mesh because everything might go down.
Yeah.
Not only that router that I have, I made sure they gave me a router with, I think it has like 8 ports. And then I had to get a splitter hub with another 10 ports to throw signals all over the flipping place. So if I use the mesh, I'm going to have to get another hub that's going to be much bigger than what I got to replace everything.
Well, I'll tell you, mine's here I have about 33, 34 smart devices plugged in, between outlets and lights and door locks and alarms and whatnot. And the only issue that I have, like, if my router goes down or I reset it or reboot it or whatever, is my Ecobee and one Wise cam won't reconnect.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go back and manually connect it. So I have to unscrew the case for the Wise cam. So that's why it's actually, I don't know what I did with it, but it was actually sitting here on my desk for a while because I'm done. But in our Ecobee, I have to connect our Ecobee every time our internet goes down. Why it won't reconnect, I have no clue. Everything else does, all the Ring cams, the doorbell, everything else reconnects but the Ecobee.
I have on my Brinks stuff, I got a what's it called? Everything has its own power source.
Yeah.
And I think I don't even know how many hours it could stay on, which I'm cool.
Oh, you got the UPS systems going.
Huh?
Yeah. The UPS systems. Universal.
Yeah. So the only thing that will suck is I won't be able to open up my garage unless I go inside the garage, pull the cord, and then manually lift it, which I can. A lot of people were kind of flipping about. So see, here's my smart home, and here's all the different hubs and all the stuff that I use. There's this thing called August. That means my door is locked currently.
Right.
Everybody says, what happens if your Wi-Fi goes down? You won't be able to unlock your door. I made it so the system itself, I have the exact same physical key. If I want to go in there and open it, I can do that. That system is from the inside of the house and will allow me to, I guess, talk to it or do it within the app to automatically close or lock or unlock. You know what I mean? So, yeah, when it comes to that, for me personally, I love the smart home thing.
I do too. Our lock has no key at all. It has 2 little knobs on the bottom of it where we carry a 9-volt battery in our car with us. And if they lose power or Wi-Fi is down or whatever, you can, if it loses power, you can hold the 9-volt battery up to it and it'll power the keypad where you can get in.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. Next, do you have any kind of smart home?
No, because honestly, I have a tiny little apartment. I have a tiny little apartment. There's no room for anything. I mean,
You got your TV, right? That you turn on your computer?
Well, the TV is hooked up to my cube, and the cube is hooked up to the A word. So I tell the A word to turn on my TV, and that's about as smart as it gets.
Better than nothing.
But I mean, right beside me is my computer. And right beside the computers, actually right behind the computer is the router. And then right beside the computer is the TV. So like, I don't have a whole lot of stuff around me.
Yeah. When I had an apartment before, I would had a couple wax burners. So I had timers. When I used to go punch in and punch out from a job, those timers, I had them set to turn on, so that way when we got home, everything smelled good. The AC was turned on fresh. Just had a couple things here just so that way it's a little bit comfortable and nicer. Just just a little bit. Oh, dude. Frankenstein was built as soon as we got this house. I was like, what can I do? Let me automate everything.
The same way, it drives wife crazy.
I don't want to flush the toilet.
we were just having a chat with Ken the other day. It was me, Sharon, Ken, and my wife, and we were chatting backwards and forwards about Best Buy and tech, and just going and buying and having so much stuff sitting around. I've got totes that are just full of stuff that I got and thought I would like or need, and I have no need. So he goes back in the tote, and it's been sitting there. I've got a Netgear gaming switch. I've used it once. I have no need for it. Everything back here is plugged in because I have now, especially now, because I have the 2 1 gig lines coming in the house.
2 1 gig lines.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. Fine.
I have the one going directly to the Shield, and then the other one goes to everybody else's stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome. So we are getting towards the end of the show. This was pretty cool. We got to talk about some speeds 2.4. I learned something here with the mesh. Mesh is very new to me, so I thank you for that. But is there anything that you want to tell the people before we go? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to throw out there? Go for it.
I appreciate everybody that's kind of gotten behind me since I started all this. I definitely appreciate everybody. I was talking to my wife the other day that was like, I don't know why I'm getting all these people that are just like keep pushing me, and it's actually been great. And because I've never been that type of person to go out and get something like this, and so it's been overwhelming, of the amount of support that is out there for people that want to start stuff and do things. It's definitely been a blessing because this is my release. This is where I come to just get away and get a break from everyday stress in life, and I couldn't think of a better group of people to spend it with than everybody that's in the community that's around me. So I definitely appreciate all that. And you guys are, wow. I mean, both of you guys are just on a whole nother level of just someone to look up to watch and learn stuff from. Just the way you guys work together and the way you guys can present stuff. It's great. It really is. So I definitely have tremendous amount of respect for you guys and appreciate everything you guys do. So appreciate this having me on here. I mean,
if we can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
And that's it, right? We try to make it simple enough for ourselves. And if it's simple enough for us, then it'll be simple enough for everybody else.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
That's the key. And I think that's why, like I said, I think that's why a lot of people gravitate towards you guys is it's simple, it's understandable, and you guys are relatable, so.
Awesome. Yeah, much appreciated. We always tell everybody who comes on the show, thank you for coming and blessing our subscribers, our listeners, whoever is out there. We will, in the description below, if you are listening to us in the podcast or on YouTube, we're going to put Paperplate's YouTube channel so that way you guys could find him and then you could learn. There's no one way of doing something. There's always multiple ways, and then you never know what you'll find also. So with all that being said, we really, really appreciate you here. And a couple things that we tell the people: you guys take care and take care of each other.
Stay humble and be patient.
And we'll see you guys soon
on the next one. Peace.
Peace.